are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
There's one guy brings the items, and the other guy pays.
What about the nurse that lives across the hall from you? She seems kind of nice.
Secure the engine room, then find me a date.
I'm multitasking.
Shoot him in the face.
I hate to shatter your ego, but this ain't the first time I've had a gun pointed at me.
You don't take your fucking end off that case, it'll be your last.
Stop causing
Just.
Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal. Look.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
Smell it! You smell it! Back! Hey, punks!
Oh, I'm just kidding. It's not just me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Cinema. Sadly, this is the last day of Halloween month on the channel, but we will be reviewing Halloween Part 1 and 2, but I have some special guests to help me out, and we'll bring in the first mystery. I don't know who this is. They have their camera shut off. I'm kind of worried to click on this, but we'll see. It's supposed to be Tony, but oh no. Oh no, we have Michael Myers, the real Michael Myers. Sorry, man, I was just making fun of you. But I was just impersonating you, but we got the real one here now. He's all gonna be all quiet. Now I'm kind of nervous now. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave him here, and then I'll have we'll bring in Fable and Big Jeff are with us. Here we go. Hold on. There. Okay, my internet's going. Oh, there he is. All right. Nope. All right. Okay, there. Sorry about that. Hey, everybody. We got Michael Myers up with us. He's making me uncomfortable. I'll have to. Is that the boogeyman? You know, what's he say here? Hold on.
Look at those black eyes.
Let's find it here. Let's see if I can find the clip. Okay. Here you go.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Mike, does that,
as a matter of fact, it
does
was.
that irritate you when people refer to you as the boogeyman?
You don't care. So, what's your problem with babysitters, by the way? I mean, hell. Did you have a bad babysitter when you were a kid or something? Why does Dr. Loomis hate you so much? Because he always said you had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, you know. He said, you ain't got me fooled, buddy. He didn't have you fooled, right? He didn't have him fooled. So, I don't know.
Hey, Mike, I got to commend you, though. At least you don't just steal kids' candies.
Yeah, that fruitcake Loomis was jealous.
Yeah.
You got to. I'm not like the other slashers. You got to stay true to one woman.
That's true. He's been loyal. Although Jason is loyal to one woman, but it's not the women he kills. And we got if anybody's seen Laurie Strode, tell her she needs to go hide. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Where'd you get that? Okay, where'd you get that? It's like we got Michael Myers on the scene with us, and then we got okay, you got Collector Peace talking to you. We got two Michaels. We had two, but I was just impersonating Michael Myers. But I'm keeping my knife here because he's like right next to me. So if I have to, I'll go to the knife. Also, what was Paul Rudd like? I heard he's a really nice guy.
Kind of small.
That's a deep cut. All right, guys. Well, like we're going to do, we're going to talk about Halloween 1 and 2 because, in my opinion, I don't think you can talk about Halloween 1 without talking about Halloween Part 2. Even though, a little side note, you know, John Carpenter directed the first one, but he did not direct the second one. The second one was directed by a guy named Rick Rosenthal, and then Deborah Hill and John Carpenter produced it because John Carpenter really didn't want to get like, he told him like, I don't really want to be stuck as the guy, like the horror movie guy. You know what I mean? He didn't want to be like, he wanted to do a lot of things. And if you know one thing about the director of this movie, John Carpenter, he had one of the greatest runs in the 80s I've ever seen. I'm just going to read off some of his movies before we get ahead of it. So I can find him. Hold on. I can find this. I had it up here. All right, there we go. I'm going to look at his filmography. This is just, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but here is his filmography from 76 to like 89. Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, and They Live. That's got to be one of the coolest like resume of like movies from like 76 to 89 to me that I've ever personally. I would like, that's a good resume to have. Okay, I got a few notes about it, then we'll start the discussion. Of course, Halloween 1 came out in 1978. The screenplay only took him 10 days to write it with Deborah Hill, his ex-girlfriend, who was also his longtime producer. Unfortunately, Deborah Hill passed away in 2005 from cancer at the age of 53. It only took 20 days to film it. It had a $300,000 budget, and it grossed $70 million at the box office.
Damn.
He was only paid $10,000 to direct it. Also, on a side note, originally the character of Laurie Strode was supposed to be played by actress Anne Lockhart, who you may recognize the name. It's the daughter of June Lockhart, who was the mother on the TV series Lassie. So that's who they originally wanted, but she didn't do it, so they got Jamie Lee Curtis, who, of course, her mother is Janet Leigh, and her father was Tony Curtis. So she comes from like Hollywood royalty. Part two, they had a $2.5 million budget, but it only grossed $25.5 million. So there was a little bit of a fall off there. But also, Tony told me to bring this to everybody's attention that do you guys want to know who the cameraman was for Halloween 2? It was SNL alumni Dana Carvey.
That was wild. And he is credited in the credits.
I didn't know that. Because his oldest treated him bad. You think that's what it was, Robert? It could have been. Although, like, we don't really see that part of him in the movie. It's just like he, I don't know. Oh, we got Bobby's here. Hey, Bobby. So I'm going to go through this real quick. Phil said he saw the Fog so many times at weekend midnight showings. That's actually a good movie. You know, we got, I really like that movie. The original, the second one's kind of trash. I think we're caught up now on the chat. So we'll get into this. I'm going to show you there are some scenes that were deleted from the film that were filmed for, Tony told me it was for part 2, and they're in the TV version, probably because they wanted to cut down violence or because of like continuity. I don't know. Not continuity, but you know what I mean. But there's a scene where he's talking to the board about him, and he's like, they're telling him like, you know, well, he's going to be tried as an adult when he's 21.
Day of his 21st birthday, where he shall be tried as an adult for the murder of his sister, Judith Margaret Myers.
And this is what they say. What do you guys think to say, Dr. Lewis? And this is what he tells them.
Michael Myers must be removed from the sanitarium immediately. I would suggest the maximum security ward at Litchfield.
And he was right. I mean, he tried to tell him. Like Dr. Loomis tried to warn him several times because Michael had pulled the wool over their eyes, but then he goes and visits a young Michael Myers and he tells him, you don't have me fooled.
Fooled him, haven't you, Michael? But not me.
And Dr. Loomis, he's one of my favorite characters in the movies, guys. We'll get into that later, though. But yeah, let's see. I didn't mean to leave that comment up there, but let's see here. Get up here. I had it highlighted. My bad. I'm kind of off. So we're just going to get right into it here. I made some notes of what we could talk about. I guess we'll get into the writing and the plot first, I guess. Or I was going to say, should we go over overall? I'll let you guys decide. You want to talk about overall thoughts on the film first? We'll just do that first. And I'll start with comic verse. And then I'll go last there.
My overall thoughts of just part one or both?
Both.
I think it was a great little 2-episode, 2-part movie set. What's interesting about the first one is that they did so much with so little. Just the setup and everything, as far as, there are killings, there are deaths, but it's kind of, I compare it to Jaws, where you knew the shark was in there, water, but you didn't know where he was at. Same way with Michael. You knew he was around because you could hear the heavy breathing through the mask, but you didn't know where he was at. And it was a pretty good build-up, pretty good story. I will say, in hindsight, all this time later in Halloween 2, where they brought in the whole sister angle, when I was a kid, I thought it was kind of unique. But the only thing that I would say would be a negative about the sister angle, that they got rid of it in the reboot trilogy that came out in 2018, was it was great to exemplify the character of Michael, but it really hurt the Shape, because the Shape was supposed to be this force of evil that nobody knew anything about. They didn't know where he came from or what he was, what it was. And, so it kind of killed the whole mystique about the Shape. That's just my opinion. So, I mean, you can go either way on that. But, I mean, I like them. I love them. I watch them every year.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with that. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, see, there's also kind of a thing in my mind where I'm thinking I try to get too analytical with it because I overthink things. And I'm like, this guy's in an insane asylum. He doesn't have access to like phone records. How does he know that's his sister? So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. But Fable, what do you think of the overall thoughts on the film?
I mean, it's a classic for sure, something that I've grown up with since I was a little kid. I've seen it, oh my God. I'd probably say more than 24 times throughout my lifetime. I mean, as I get older, I kind of question a little bit why it sticks so much in my mind, right? Because if you look at the movie, it's a lot of setup. And when Michael finally comes in and he does things, he only kills about 2 or 3 people in the whole movie. But there's something about like the voyeurism of it, right? Like when we watch Friday the 13th, that's what we talked about a lot too. And Friday the 13th definitely borrows a lot from this movie because this movie came 2 years prior. Something about the mask, you know what I mean? There's just some.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, something wrong with it. Like I can't articulate it well, but like you see it, and I was like, this ain't right, man. What kind of fucking mask is that? I didn't even know it was a William Shatner mask until like March later.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that is William Shatner. That's fucking crazy. But it stands the test of time. It's one of Carpenter's best movies. It's got fantastic cinematography, which Carpenter is I think Dean Cundy is the cinematographer on this one. I'm not 100 mistaken, but he's been his partner for a lot of these movies, I think. So yeah, it's got a fantastic look to it, and it's just become synonymous. Yeah, it's Dean Cundy. Yeah, it's just become synonymous with the holiday, man. It's just something that you throw on every time it's that time of year, every October. It's like time for Halloween.
Exactly.
As far as part 2 is concerned, I have not seen that one as much. Although from my memory, I thought it had like a poor reception.
Yeah.
Or I've always perceived it to have a poor reception, even though I think it's pretty decent. I think it has. I mean, they jumped the kill count up, ridiculous, right? Like it went to like 10 or 12 people they killed in this.
Yeah, it was like about 12 people.
Yeah. There's some weird parts in it, some silly parts in it, I think. But I overall enjoy part two. So yeah, no, I think these are classics, man. I think this is something that you definitely got to watch if you're a horror fan, and something that is just a tradition now, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like Twilight Zone on New Year's Eve or fucking Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that you do. So yeah, no, it's iconic. It launched a franchise. It launched a lot of things, man. Halloween. I mean, is Jason the first like supernatural killer? Right? Like out of all of them, because he's older than Jason. And he you know, they never explained it in the first two movies how he can get shot like fucking 15 times and not die.
That's true. That's true.
And
He
they
just
don't
got a strong constitution. I thought he took one in the head too, but because he goes like this when Loomis shoots
shot
at
the
him.
shit out of him, bro. and he just doesn't stop, man. So I think that spawned a bunch of copycats, and you gotta give props to the original, man. So no, this is, to me, this is a tradition, like, you know, like Thanksgiving turkey.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Jeff, what do you? I'll let you just go ahead now. I'll say.
So I think it came out in 75, if I'm not
78.
mistaken. Oh, 78. Okay.
1978.
So I was 3 years old. I didn't see it till I don't know, probably till 82. I don't know, something like that. And being that little, that young, this wasn't a scary movie like Nightmare on Elm Street's a scary movie. It's a different thing. This one to me was, I don't want to say realistic, but closer to reality, because you got somebody who's a mental patient who's dangerous. You know what I mean? There's nothing in there, and I don't know if they did this on purpose, but that the additional scene where they have Loomis talking to Michael Myers as a young boy, and he's just staring out a window with that blank stare. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it just so happens the mask that he steals is that same expressionless, hollow, you know, void. You know what I mean? So that was disturbing to me as a kid and scared me. And they didn't need to, I really don't think they needed to do a whole lot of effects of blood and guts and gory kills and all that, because the terror that this movie struck into me was the not knowing. Where is he? Where's he going to pop up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those little scenes where like he walks out from behind a bush and then he's gone. He's among the dude's laundry, then he's gone. And then, you know, Laurie Strode's walking upstairs through the dark house and there's shadows everywhere and he just comes out of a shadow. You know, that type of shit. When you're a kid, man, it gives you goosebumps and the jump scares and all that. But I look at Halloween and Halloween 2, they're kind of one product for me. They go together. Number 3 can, you know, you could throw that in the garbage as far as I'm concerned, but and I enjoyed like the later ones too, the remakes and the retellings and this, that. Those are more fun for me. But when I was a kid and 1 and 2 were out and I watched them as a little kid, like during close to Halloween or on Halloween, shit scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And that's the mark of a good horror movie to me.
Oh yeah.
But I agree with what Fable said. It's Thanksgiving turkey for Halloween.
Well, there's a lot. I agree with all that, and like my thoughts on her, like it's kind of like Loomis is telling him about, you know, I saw this boy, and I didn't see anything there. You know, he's just pure evil, like the devil's eyes, and it reminds me of that scene in Jaws on the USS Indianapolis when Robert Shaw's telling him about the shark when he bites somebody and his eyes roll back in his head and they come to life, you know, and like also the stalking. He was a good stalker. And what's cool about it is like there's like you know what's coming because we're seeing a point of view of him a lot of the time, kind of like they did in that movie. This is not the first movie to do that. Black Christmas is one of the first I remember to do that. POV killer type thing, you know, or Psycho
Right.
kind of did it too with the shower scene, because they don't want you to know that Norman Bates obviously is pretending to be his mother. And so you get that like vibe. It's like we're almost seeing it through the eyes of Michael Myers a lot of the time.
Yes.
You know, like when the kid's out there and he gets jumped by the bullies and they destroy his pumpkin and he's walking away and he just starts following him. And we're seeing the viewpoint from the car. And we're like, oh, no, is he going to go after this kid? Like, I mean, I don't think anybody was safe. Like with Michael Myers, nobody's safe, because like with Jason, sometimes I at least you could he's got enough to where he doesn't like. If you remember in Pattern 13 Part 6, when he goes into the camp to the camper's room and all the little kids see him and he just walks through, doesn't even touch them. But Michael Myers would have probably went through there and just to every bed like that if it had been him. Oh, you would have done that? I don't know. I don't. Let's talk about Danielle. We'll ask Danielle Harris about that, Mike, because we know what
I
you
think
did
they're
do to her. You know,
they're really good at creating that atmosphere of vulnerability. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not safe, and you're like, oh shit. Like it reminds me of the feeling you get in Silence of the Lambs when Clarice is in the basement looking for Buffalo Bill, and he flips
Yeah.
on the night vision, and she's like
Yeah.
looking around blind, and he's just like barely, almost touching her, not really quite touching her, and she's like totally blind. It's just that kind of feeling, you know?
Yeah. And also, there's like you see, like with a lot of it's like, and they kind of did it with Friday 13th too, or as well, not Friday 13th 2, but I meant with Friday 13th movies. We're like, oh no, this girl's going to get it. You know, we'll get into the tropes later because we can take some of our famous tropes from this. But also, you know, a lot of people say that, oh, this is the beginning of the final girl. But I beg to differ. Jamie Lee Curtis is not the first final girl, but she's the best. Because the first one is technically Marilyn Burns. And if you don't know what that name is, she was the girl, the blonde-headed girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So technically, she's kind of the first final girl. And I mean, as far as horror film, slasher film stuff. But Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, she's goated, as they say, as the kids say. So, and also, like, there's a certain tenacity of her. Like, she's helpless. She feels helpless at certain times. But there's parts where, like, just like the scene where she's in the closet and he's busting through the closet. And I'll play the clip here in a minute. But she's kind of got like a vicious, like, no, not today, Satan. You know what I mean? She like comes at him. She's like, oh, no, not today. She's kind of tough. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. And actually, Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome as a person from what I've seen. Like we said, she's Hollywood royalty. This is her first film. But like here, I'm going to play a couple of clips and we'll go to the next segment. But like where she's like, this is where she's going to fight back. Let's look on her face. Like, we'll get into the acting. You know, and then, but like, also we were talking about like there's no blood really, like a lot of blood. Oh, we lost Jeff. Uh-oh. Well, there's no blood in it really, but like, there's like the part where Annie, played by Nancy, I can't remember her last name. Tony, what's her last name? Is Tony still with us anywhere? All right. And Annie is getting killed. And it's kind of, there's no blood. He strangles her. But like, I don't know how y'all guys felt about it, but it was like, kind of like, it was kind of a brutal scene. Like, you're like, I kind of feel like she's really getting, like, is she really getting hurt here? We'll play it. I'll play a couple of. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God. And then like another scene I'll play, and I'll quit playing clips. So I just wanted to show this because this is like one of my favorite scenes is like when PJ Souls' boyfriend is like, are you guys messing with me? You know where he's walking around? I don't have the whole clip, but Michael does this. He comes out of nowhere.
Come on out.
Although I don't know that you could actually stick somebody to the wall like a butterfly on a cardboard thing and let it hold up. But like, it looks cool in the movie, don't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, that's my overall feelings. Also, it is kind of like the Jaws thing that Jeff mentioned. I don't know what happened to Jeff. Let's see if I can get him a message. But like, it's actually, and it was actually the necessity of the movie Jaws that Spielberg, that the shark kept breaking down. I've talked about this when I did that movie, but it made it better to like, I can't see the shark. That makes it scarier. To when you actually see the size of this shark, when Roy Scheider's throwing that stuff out there, the chum, and he's like, you're like, oh, they're fucked. You know what I mean? Oh, no, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Let's see if we got a message from him here. I'm gonna ask him if the internet went out. He's having technical difficulties. He got booted. Hold on a minute. No, you got booted. I don't know. It wasn't me. The internet's still working. We're still here. Anyway, we got some more comments here. Okay, no, I got them. All right. But like, yeah. Although, of course, we have another horror film trope. It's like the girl that plays Annie and PJ Souls. They were basically in their 30s. They were playing high schoolers. But we'll talk about the casting later. Okay, we got a comment here from Katana. This is Tim. Annie, and because she refuses to die, you see Michael slit her throat. That's what. Okay. Yeah,
that's my buddy. That's my buddy Tim.
Okay, Tim. Also, okay, you didn't really see it there, but like, and then you get the scene. It's kind of a scary reveal. To me, is this one. And we'll get back to the rest of the show. Kind of using her as an avatar for Judith Myers, his sister he murdered. And actually, I had kind of a crush on the Annie character. She seemed pretty cool. Like, she liked to smoke weed. She kind of partied. I'd have probably hung out with her. But you get these scenes too, like this right here. This amazing scene. Where Jeff was talking about this earlier about him creeping up on people, like right here. It's just like, takes a heck of a fall there too, guys. That's like, oh man. And
I don't know, Michael. Whenever it came to Laurie, he kind of missed a lot.
Yeah, he kind of seemed like Jim Kelly when you get to the Super Bowl. Sorry, but
he was in the back of the couch.
Yeah, just kind of like
he pops up like and missed. I'm like, how the fuck you missed it twice, Mike? Come on. There's something about Laurie, man.
He nailed that dude to the wall in one shot, but he seems to miss the mark when it comes to Laurie.
Yeah, she's got some luck to her, but she's also. I guess she's got that. They got. I don't know if it depends on which Laurie you think of. She's got some Myers blood, or she knows how to survive. But we'll go on to the next thing. What do you think about Tony? I still love PJ Souls, and actually the girl that played Annie, what's her name? Nancy. Is her name
Loomis.
Nancy
Loomis?
Loomis? No relation to Dr. Loomis, but she was in Asylum Precinct 13 as well. So that's why she was cast in this movie, because Carpenter needed some people. And like the thing about this also, before we go on, well, I will get this when we start talking about the filming of it. Let's go on to what do you think of the writing and the plotting of the movie, Tony, and like what they got right in both of them and what they probably missed on. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'll let you go, and we'll ask Fable.
I think the writing was great. At the core of it, you've got this kid that for some reason picked up a knife at 6 years old and killed his sister, and you don't really know why. They tried to do it later on in origin stories and stuff, which is always a problem. I think if you got a popular character and they try to do an origin story, it hardly ever makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I just loved it back in the day when you didn't know. You were like, wow, what is it that keeps this dude, the shape going? He did a really good, he did a really good writing process of writing this shape of evil, this somewhat force of nature that comes back to his town, and for some reason that nobody can identify with, he just wants to kill. You can't really explain it. I don't think there's really, until they set up, like I said, the sister angle, there was no motive for him to do that. He just did it. But I hope I'm making sense. But I love the writing. I love the execution of the writing. I think he just had a good idea and he just went with it. Originally, it was called the Babysitter Murders, and then they changed it to Halloween. So it's pretty cool.
Tana's got a good point here. He's like, it's almost like Michael Myers misses wearing a mask like stormtroopers in Star Wars always seem to miss when shooting at major characters.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have Han Solo get shot too early. I mean, he can't get shot. All right. Yeah, it's all right. You done, Tony? You want?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Caleb, what do you think about the writing and the plotting and all that of the films?
I mean, it's a real simple story, right? There's not really much to it. It's like Tony said. It's just a killing machine who comes back, who escapes an asylum and comes back to his hometown to wreak havoc. A lot of the character beats come from the girls, right? The friendships between these 3 girls or 4 girls, and the little kids that are with them, and just that interaction there. That's really what it really is what holds you to this movie, right? Because Michael is just, you like these characters, you like Laurie, you like her friends or whatever it is, and then you see Michael pick them off one by one, and that's what gives you the emotional, like, damn, man, we got to get this guy. He's, you know what I mean? He's killing everybody.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it's like this giant intricate story, right? It's just simple. It's there to just scare the shit out of you. It's like Jeff was saying, like, you know what I mean? The vulnerability. The block is quiet, right? The neighborhood is a quiet neighborhood. This guy is just, he's driving down the street and you never see him, his face. He's following the cars. He's around the town popping up and stuff. And that's really what this movie is about, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's just this fear. And it's exemplified in the ending of the movie, right? Because when he gets shot and he falls on the ground, he disappears, and then what's the next thing they do? You hear his breathing, and then they just show you like a shot of a living room, a shot of you know what I mean, outside, a shot of this. It's like he could pop up anywhere. So yeah, it's just about it's a simple story. And it's like Jeff said, it's about vulnerability. So yeah, it's not complex. It's good writing. It's got great pacing, and a nice build up to the end.
All right. So yeah, it's not Shakespeare. You know what I mean? We're not doing Shakespeare in the Park here. It's just a slasher kind of horror. All right, Jeff, what do you think of the screenwriting and the? I said plotting, but I basically mean like the pacing of the film.
So the writing, I'm not really schooled in all that stuff. I don't. So the movie's great, right? The movie does its job because of the way it was shot. The POV thing, or the little sporadic spotting of Michael Myers in different spots, and the way that the director causes anxiety in the viewer.
Yeah.
So is that the writing? I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give the lion's share of the credit to whoever was the person who was controlling. Okay, this shot's going to be from here. She's going to walk out of this room. He's going to come out of this shadow right here, because when he's inside the shadow, you can't see him. And then slowly his face materializes. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I think that's where you get the gold out of these movies.
Yeah.
I keep saying the same thing, but it's the anxiety of where is he?
Right.
Can he get to me right now?
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of the scary parts to me were like that car scene. I thought was really scary. Like, it drives by and she says something like, "You jerk," or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And the car just stops.
Speed
And
kills.
it's like,
jerk. Yeah, she says
Yeah.
Jerk, speed kills.
and then she fucking she goes, she gets with Lori. She's smoking in the car. They're driving around town, and you can always see his car following her car in those shots. And it's like, and they don't notice at all. They're not even they're
oblivious.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff mentioned that
another
when
thing,
we were watching together about
the beginning of that movie, when they're going, Dr. Loomis is with her and they're driving to the hospital, and it's raining, and you just got that horrible. You can't see anything through the rain-soaked windshield, even with the windshield wipers going. And all of a sudden, the headlights hit like 6 or 7 people in those medical gowns, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's open. He's out. He's free." Right then you knew it was on.
Yeah.
My opinion is like this with overall. It's like it's another master stroke by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. The way he writes the characters, like Dr. Loomis is a fascinating character to me for the moment, because he's like I'll play a couple of clips when they're driving in the car, like Jeff says, that nurse, and he keeps calling him it. He doesn't call him him. He just says it. She goes, "Why do you not call him him?" He goes, "Because that's not what he is." And then she goes, "You're determined to make sure he doesn't get out, aren't you?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "What do you want me to give him?" Remember, she asked him what drug, what do you want me to inject him with when he goes in front of the judge? He said, Thorazine. He said, Thorazine. And if anybody knows anything about Thorazine, it is a very heavy, hardcore sedative. She's like, he'll be able to stand up. And Dr. Lewis is like, "Yeah, that's the idea." And then when he finds out he's gone, he goes, "The evil is gone." He doesn't say he's gone. He says the evil is gone.
Yeah.
And so you're set up right for the minute, like, oh no, because we already get to sit up with the kid. Like, he doesn't know the reason why he kills anybody. And that's kind of like reality, because I watch a lot of true crime stuff, and there's been plenty of psychologists and criminal psychologists and pathologists and FBI profilers and police detectives that try to figure out why John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez and all these people killed people. And they still don't exactly know why they have this urge. They just know they have this urge to kill, and it's not satisfied unless they harm another human being. And I mean, you can say the pathology, you can say the sociopath, psychopath, whole thing, dissociative order, social anxiety, whatever. He does kind of do the Thorazine shuffle, though. Yeah, like kind of like the zombies in Thriller doing that. All right, anyway, but yeah, it's like trying to figure out, because I think it was an FBI profiler. He said that profiled Bundy and all the guys. He said, trying to, he says, you will drive yourself insane trying to figure out the reason why they do this. He goes, it's are they made that way, or are they wired that way? And it's kind of like, I don't know. It could be either way. I think it can go either way. I think sometimes a killer can be made. I think they can just be born. There's also, they try to say all kinds of stuff, but like the scene's really tough too, because like he doesn't really have to break into the house because it's his house. The first time the kid goes in, and he waits until so it's kind of like, does he know what he's doing? Because it seems like it's premeditated, because he waited for the boyfriend of his sister to leave before he went in there. And it's just kind of, and I agree with Tony earlier when he said they try to explain it when Rob Zombie did it. And look, I like a lot of Rob Zombie. I love White Zombie. I like The Devil's Rejects, but I had a problem with his Halloween movies because, look, I don't need to know all that backstory about Michael Myers, because it's scarier when you don't know the reason or the pathology of this person of why they want to do what they're doing. Because that makes it, like y'all said, it makes it scarier when you don't know why somebody's doing it. Because, and like I said, I hate to keep harping on serial killers, but why do you think they used to get away with it so much? Because they had no contact with the victim. They had no problem with the victim. Obviously, Michael doesn't know this is his sister, I don't think. And he doesn't know these girls from anybody, but he just wants to go back and kill people. And he wants to do it in his hometown. Yeah, I didn't really care for him either at all, to be honest with you. I like some of the fan service he did in it, though, like having Danielle Harris in it. But yeah, I didn't. But okay, I don't want to harp on it too long. I'm going to play I was going to play the clips I was talking about. These will be the last clips I play. where he's in the car and he's telling, the nurse is like, because it kind of sets up the whole thing to me.
Don't underestimate it,
Don't you think we could refer to it as him?
if you say so.
Well, you say so. And she goes, what do you want me to give him? And he says,
What
authority.
do I give him when we take him in front of the judge?
Thorazine,
He'll barely be able to sit up.
that's the idea.
And
Dr.
I don't know
Loomis
if I
knew
have
what
the
was
other
up.
one where he's like, the evil is gone, but he says, the evil is gone. He doesn't, it's like, he's the devil, basically. It's like the devil almost to him. He's like, and also him being a medical professional, setting that up, telling you this, like this kid, I've been around this kid for 6, 7, 8 years, and he's not going to change. There's nothing there. He's not human.
I mean, I could
just,
understand. I could understand Rob Zombie wanting to do something, because if you listen to the way Loomis talk, okay, first of all, this kid was locked up immediately after he killed his sister, right? Clearly committed one murder.
Yeah.
While he was in lockup, supposedly, because in part 2 they go into it more, he didn't move. He didn't speak. He didn't say anything, and it was almost like he had a patience to him, right? Like he was waiting for something. He just was waiting for that one time to do it, to I guess escape and go on Halloween and do his killing spree. So you got to kind of wonder, why does Dr. Loomis think this kid is the fucking devil? What did this kid do besides kill his sister that got Loomis really like spooked the fuck out like that? And I guess that's something that as a fan, like, because I know Rob Zombie's a big fan, he probably wanted to put something behind that. And maybe a fucking stare from the kid looking into the camera, something might have been like, oh yeah, he is the devil. They didn't show that shit, but you know what I mean? Like, I could understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, like, yeah, sometimes you just know, right? And then you just gotta, I mean, Loomis just knew.
I always felt like the movies inferred that Loomis treated like Michael was his case since he was a kid, right after the first murder. And all those years and all the different treatments he must have tried and all the studies and whatever he tried to do to figure him out, he came to the conclusion finally that there's nothing in there except evil.
Yeah.
That's all that resides inside behind those black eyes.
He says that. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and the one more thing that I thought that I picked up on, maybe it's just me, in Halloween 2, where Michael Myers is on the loose again, and there's a kid dressed up looking like him, and the cops are like, "Hey," and even Dr. Loomis is like, "Hey, there he is," and his kid starts getting scared or whatever, starts trying to walk away, and the cops are like, "Stop, or we'll shoot." He winds up getting ran over, and a car explodes, and he's dead. So that's another, even though Michael Myers didn't do it, it's because of him that he died, So it's like he brings evil with him,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that got kind of ridiculous. Like the car explodes.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like walk away. Like the sheriff and Dr. Lewis go, all right, well, he's dead. Let's go on over here.
Yeah, they're not real big on procedure.
I'm like, you're not going to take this guy off duty and like say, hey, dude, you just set this one out. You just killed a kid. You weren't even paying attention driving your car. Yeah, that's that. We can get into that with the trope thing though. But yeah, I agree with everything he said. I want to try to speed up a little bit. We'll really talk about this one because I don't really think it's a factor in it. But I put these together. I put these Okay, I'm back. I put these categories together. God. All right, gore factor 1 to 5, and the special effects. We'll put there are not really no special effects, but I think we can talk about maybe the mask making, But all right, Tony. I think it's. I mean, I'll tell you what I think in a minute, but I'll let y'all go around real quick on this one because there's really not much to the gore of this one.
No, the first one there's not really much more of the gore. You get a little bit more in 2 with the the hot tub scene, and the hammer. I mean, even some people criticize the needle to Janet, but I actually kind of dug that too. Just little things there, but when you're just judging the first one, there's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of gore. I mean, he sticks that dude to the freaking wall. So I mean, that was pretty like, wow, how the hell did he do that? And he held him up with his left hand. So I mean, most people that are predominantly right hand, their left hand is weaker, and he was holding him up with his left hand. So I mean,
maybe it was the Undertaker or something. Choke slamming him.
I'm going to say gore factor is low, but you didn't have to have it. I mean, you didn't. There's hardly any blood in the first one. It still scared the hell out of everybody. So I mean,
right?
It proved you didn't have to have it to scare people. So it may not have a bit much of gore, but it still did its job.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah. And isn't that not the coolest name for a stunt guy? Hi, my name's Dick Warlock.
Dick Warlock.
I mean, it's just like, hey, if we're going to get to do this, we're going to get Dick Warlock to do it. Okay. Okay, I'm cool then. It's kind of like in Pulp Fiction when they say, we're calling the wolf. Man, that's all you had to say. All right, Fable, how about you on the gore factor? There's really no special effects, honestly, but
yeah, part 1 gore factor super low. I'd probably put it below Friday the 13th, right? I gave Friday the 13th a pretty low gore factor. Yeah. This is probably even lower than that. Part 2, they upped the ante a little bit, just a little bit, like Tony said, the hot tub thing, the scalding water thing, that was pretty cool. The needle in the eye from the doctor, right? Like when they turn the chair around and they show the needle, and then he sticks the fucking needle on the side of her temple. That's pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
When you don't really see it too much. It's just a lot of them implied, which is both of these movies. But when he sticks you think sticking a knife in a guy and holding him to the wall was crazy. What about sticking the chick with the scalpel and lifting her?
That's right.
Yeah, we talked about that. Me and Jeff, when we watched it, like, there's no way that scalpel wouldn't break off. There's no way.
Yeah, that was something else.
So they stepped it up. I would definitely give part 2 a higher gore rating than part 1, but they're both pretty low, to be honest. Yeah. But it's like Tony said, unnecessary for this kind of movie. Exactly. The implication is enough. You use your imagination for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, what do you think?
I think that they did the movie a service by keeping the gore level out of it. You know what I mean? Because that leaves all of it to the viewer's imagination. And I think it contributes kind of to the realism of it, Like you're not watching it to see intestines and blood, right, and all that stuff, because then that turns it into a kind of different feel for a horror movie. But just this faceless masked maniac going around, sneaking around to people's houses or wherever and killing them. You don't need gore for it. It doesn't need to be there.
Then we got some trivia here. Dick Warlock was actually Kurt Russell's stunt double for Escape from New York, and he was the guard that Lone Star puts the Vulcan neck pinch on with baseballs.
And if I'm not mistaken, Dick Warlock, I believe he directed The Last Starfighter. I may be wrong. I have to look that up.
Look it up.
Look that up. Yeah, I'll look it up.
I'll get into that. Like, to me, the gore factor in part 1 is a 1. It may be 0, really, because the only blood I remember seeing is Laurie Strode's arm when he tries to stab her and rips her blouse. But the only thing about special effects is, I don't know if it's a special effects, it's more of a prop, but it's this thing right here. This mask is just another character in the movie. And the story behind it was the prop guy, he picked a creepy clown mask, and then he found this William Shatner mask before it was painted. And he said, I took the William Shatner mask, I painted it white, he shaved the eyebrows off of it, and he painted the hair like a jet black. And when they showed it, and they showed this one to him, we first showed them the clown one, they're like, it's kind of like out there, And he said, well, how about this one? He put that one on. And John Carpenter and Debbie Hill were like, that's it. That's fucking creepy as hell. We're going with that, you know. And I didn't know it was a Shatner mask till about 5 or 6 years ago. But yeah, and just like, because it's just like it's listless. It's like there's no expression there at all. Kind of like I guess Shatner's acting back in the day. But although I think Shatner is the GOAT, I think he is a national treasure in Canada and America. But yeah, and so this is another character in the movie, like with a mask. And you know the scene where you pull the mask off and he doesn't look that harmless, right? Like remember when she pulls the mask off, he just looks like some dude. But like with the mask on, it's even worse. You know.
I wonder how many people bought that mask before they ever used it for that movie, and we're running around with that shit.
No, that's a good question. We had a question here from Bobby. Said Michael Myers versus Jason, who wins? Well, you may not like my answer. I think Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Jason punch people's heads off. I don't know. I mean, it'd probably be a good one, I guess. I don't know. I don't really want to know. I'd rather not know. We can always debate it, you know. What do you guys think of that before we go on? I guess we can ask that.
Probably Jason.
Yeah. Jason. I mean, they're both kind of the same character in a lot of ways. Like they do the same exact things. They both supernatural. You know, you just can't kill them. You can do all kinds of things and they don't die. They're super strong, right? Like we just said that Michael Myers lifted a chick with a scalpel. Like that's insane. And then Jason just, you know, he punched that dude's head off and takes Manhattan. So, but I think I might give the edge to Jason. Just because Jason just seems like a fucking. Jason seems way more sadistic than Michael. Like Michael just stab, right? Like, but Jason seems to me like he's like, I'll put your fucking head through a damn tree or some shit. Like, remember the body bag shit that Jason did, where he took the body bag?
Yeah, the sleeping
or
bag.
he folded the sheriff in half. And
he's
part
just
6.
way crazier.
He puts the hole through Tommy's friend in part 6 too. Like it's like I don't know. That would be a heck of a fight, though. They also had somebody say this the other day about could Batman defeat Michael Myers, and I'm like, yeah, probably. Because I mean, Batman can outthink people, but all right, we'll move on. I don't really want to harp on this one. I guess I don't know if we have to talk about cinematography because I feel like when we talked about the overall vibe of the film, we don't have to do that. So let's go on to another one of the main characters in this movie, and that is the score that was written by John Carpenter himself, who scores all his movies and some of the best music ever. Like you think about like the music for The Thing and Escape from New York and They Live, just phenomenal. So we'll talk about what do you think of the soundtrack and how it was used in the movie. Was it over? Because like we watched, sometimes he overuses it. Like me and Jeff watched Prince of Darkness the other day, and he overuses that song, the theme, the score in it. I think a little bit because it kind of takes away from when something bad going to happen. But Tony, what do you think of the music soundtrack and the score?
Top notch, brother. It's freaking awesome. I've read stories that he had allegedly played some of the movie to the people that were what do you call it, the people that they're making for the movie people or the people for the company, and he played it without the music and they were like, it's kind of boring. And then he went back and played it with the freaking score and they were like, holy shit. So I mean, it's one of those untouchable scores, dude. I mean, it proves that the music can make the freaking movie. I mean,
it's just those two high piano notes.
Yeah.
And you hear that little ticking in the background.
And I want to take a minute, since I didn't get a chance to give my point on who would win between Jason and Michael. It depends on the Jason. Because if we're talking,
Michael's got a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. Amy Steele kicked him between the legs in part 2, and he fell over like a ton of bricks. So I mean, and he was limping when he got stabbed in the knee in part 3. That Jason, if he's fighting that Jason, it's Michael all day long. But if he's fighting zombie Jason, Michael's done.
If he's fighting part 6 Jason or above, he's in deep shit.
And if he's fighting Jason X, dude ain't got a prayer.
Nobody could stop Jason X. I mean, nobody. I don't even know if Lobo could stop Jason X, dude. All right, Faye, I want to talk to you about the soundtrack and the score. What do you think?
I mean, I think George said it in the comments. It's 50% of this movie. It colors this film from top to bottom. Sometimes it is a little overpowering, but that's in hindsight, really. Like, you know what I mean? That's after watching it 100 million times. You're like, yeah, maybe that's a little too much right there. But as a kid, I mean, the music scares you, right? The music is part of what gave this movie its allure. Like, everybody always goes to the dun, 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 and that's a great theme. It's iconic. But I love when it's like dum dum dum.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
Brum, brum,
And when it's and when it starts up,
like,
you know he's getting ready to show up.
Yeah,
We'll do it. Not the whole thing yet. And then when he gets to moving, it does a yeah.
Those two other themes that he plays in the movie is really great stuff, and it John Carpenter's a talented dude, man. A great director and a great composer as well. So the music is synonymous with this film.
All right, Jeff, your turn.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I agree with what all you guys already said. And also that it's pretty impressive that the guy can put this story together and kind of oversee, how the movie is made, and he contributes the score to it. So, I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment in my eyes.
Man of many talents.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, okay, I'll just say because you guys said everything basically, but there is a cool song in the movie that's not the score that kind of sets the tone for what's going to happen. And when Laurie and Annie are in the car smoking that joint, they're listening to "Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think about it, because the Reaper, he basically is the Grim Reaper. It doesn't matter if you've been good or bad, because of this movie, and we'll get into this next with the tropes, because there are some horror movie tropes in it, but not that many. Like, you know how, like, let's just throw it in together. I'll do this one, then we'll ask Tony what he thinks. But like, just because you smoke weed in this movie doesn't mean you're dead. Annie didn't have sex. She was thinking about having sex, but she didn't. She didn't get out of the car. But PJ Souls did, and her boyfriend did it. So I don't know that really that kind of goes this one, but there are the tropes like investigating a weird noise, stuff like that. Running up the stairs when you should be trying to run out.
Yeah.
Have your windows open. Thinking he's dead when he's not. How many times has that happened in both of them? Like, remember when Dr. Loomis they shoot him, and he tells the deputy, "Don't go near him. Don't go near him." He's like, "No, okay, it's okay. What do you mean? He's dead." He's dead.
He shot him 6 times.
Yeah, he shot him 6 times. That dude's coming back like the Terminator. It's just, I don't know. It's just the thing about it. He's like, what do you got to do to stop him? Finally, Dr. Loomis has to blow him up. And that kind of throws into the plot holes for part 4 when they did come to the return of Michael Myers. How did they survive that freaking explosion? You're not going to that. That's for another overall. That's for bad cinema, because that movie's not that great in my opinion. But
what, the one with Jamie?
I liked it, but I actually, when it got ridiculous, was part 6 and that Mark of Thorn or whatever crap they tried to pull on everybody. But we won't get into that. But like, of course, by then John Carpenter disavowed any like attachment to these films, but we won't get into that anymore. All right. So, what do you think, Tony? Some classic horror tropes in the 2 movies.
I think he pretty much covered it. I mean, like you said, Annie smoked weed, but she didn't get to have sex, but she still died. Jamie got lucky, I guess. He wasn't gonna. I mean, I'm trying to think of some other tropes, but the whole knocking on the door and they think it's a prank, so they turn their lights off. I kept trying to figure out. Wait a minute, she put her keys in her pocket. but they weren't in her pocket. Well, you're gonna tell me they fell out of her pocket? I guess when she probably fell down the stairs. Okay, but
painted on jeans.
yeah. I can't really think of too many more tropes. I mean, you know, there, words of wisdom from Bud in part 2. Patients are not good to be involved with. Nurses is cool, but not patients.
Yeah, well, there's also the one about like the harbinger of doom thing, because you almost think Dr. Loomis is like a harbinger of doom. He's warning the sheriff. He's warning the and also another trope would be the incompetent police. Like me and Jeff kept going back to this, and Jeff, I don't know if you guys know, Jeff was in law enforcement, and like there's at some point, like, the sheriff needs to sit down. His daughter's been murdered. He needs to chill out. And he's sitting there yelling at Loomis like, "You let him out, you let him out." And I'm like, me and Jeff were like, "Wait a minute, he didn't let him out. He told him not to let him out. He told him to put him in a maximum security prison."
Yeah.
So there's kind of stuff like that. And then like, what was that guy thinking when he's driving? It still bothered me. And he hits that kid with the car. What the heck? But whatever. All right. Well, I guess we've touched on that. I don't know. Let's just move on, I guess, to casting and acting.
Well, I mean, they had the let's hide in this room trope.
Oh yeah.
In this room,
like hide in the dead end.
Yeah, me in this closet. Let me get in this.
Hide in the closet. Although she did like put the wire hanger around the closet, though. Props to her for that. That closet door is made out of balsa wood. I mean, I can see that.
And they definitely had the, all of these movies have like, let's get some ass, you're gonna die. Period. Like, especially part 2, when they were in that fucking hot tub. I was like, oh, they're fucking dead. Like, they are so dead. Like, they're naked too. They're dead. Like, when you get your clothes off and shit, it's like, you don't got shit. Yeah, it's over.
So Lori survived because she was a virgin, even though she smoked weed. Well, that's true because I guess because Alice in Friday 13th smokes a joint with them when they're playing Monopoly, when they're playing strip Monopoly. But I always took it she might have been a virgin or a good girl, so it might have been why she survived. That's probably right. And usually, if you're a babysitter, you're watching kids in one of these movies, you're gone. Especially if you're doing it irresponsibly, like PJ Souls basically was like, and you're like, "Hey, you take care of our kids. Annie, you take care of my kid. I got to go get laid." So as soon as she shirked her responsibility, she's gone. All right, let's get into the casting and acting, I guess. Tony, how do you feel about the casting of this film and the actors' portrayals in the film?
I thought the casting was great. I mean, you got to keep in mind it's another film where they really got relatively unknowns. Even nobody really knew who the hell Jamie Lee Curtis was when they made this movie.
Yep.
And the 2 or 3 people that played Michael, because we always talk about Nick Castle, but Tony Moran played him, and there was another person that did the scene where he hopped over on the station wagon. I think all the casting was perfect, all the way down to the nurse Chambers in part 1. Part 2, the casting I think was great as well. Even the drunk doctor, because who the hell wants a drunk doctor to freaking work on him? And he did stitches too. Okay. Yeah, I like the casting and everything for both movies, and the acting was pretty good. I mean, I think, like I said, you could play a drinking game for how many times Linda said totally. It's 11 times.
Totally.
11. That's 11 shots of whiskey. I don't think I'd make it through it. But the people that played Michael, whether it was Tony or Nick, is the benchmark for Michael Myers. And even Dick Warlock in part 2, he did a real good job playing Michael. So, So yeah, I'd say the acting was top notch. The actors were great, and you couldn't ask for more. They did. I think they did pretty good.
Aaron says totally.
Totally.
Right,
I was like, if that bitch says totally one more time,
yeah,
I'm gonna shoot myself. And I never noticed that until this watch, guys. To be honest with you,
no, I didn't either. She almost says it as much. She almost says it as much as Bill and Ted say this in Bill and Ted movies.
Excellent.
I had to have an excuse to do it. All right, go ahead, Fable, on the casting and the acting.
I mean, the casting is great. The acting is serviceable, you know, for all the background characters. But Jamie Lee Curtis and the guy who played Loomis, I think that's really it for this movie, right? Like Jamie Lee Curtis is she comes off like a virgin, like you say, like she's like, you know, just a really good person, a little prudish, right? Because all her friends are out there going having fun, and she kind of wants to do it, but she's just, you know, I don't know, she's just awkward or scared to do it. I don't know what her deal is. But she plays that part great. And Loomis, you know, Loomis gives you that like, oh, Michael, we gotta get him. Fucking, he's evil. You're like, this guy's nuts. I love him. So yeah, no, I think the acting's okay. It's serviceable. You know, everybody's cannon fodder. Part two, there's a lot of characters that are unnecessary in that movie. But I still enjoyed it. You know, like homeboy that was kind of in love with her, but not in, I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I was like, why do we got this guy here?
Well, he was actually the kid in Last Starfighter.
No, I know. I was the kid from Last Starfighter. But, you know, it's like, what is his deal in this movie?
Yeah, I
like,
don't
what
know.
is the point for him to be in this shit? Like, he finds the nurse, and then he slips on her blood and fucking gets a concussion. Like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? So yeah, there's a lot of whatever characters. Again, it's totally carried by just Jamie Lee Curtis and Loomis.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it does the job.
All right. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, it's basically Loomis Myers and Laurie Strode. That's the bulk of the movie. And Donald Pleasance looks like an old, you know, psychiatrist type guy. He has that look about him, that bald head, you know, the wisdom of his gray beard and all that shit. And Laurie Strode is the quintessential co-ed, dipping her toe into the world of sex and drugs, not knowing that the evil Michael's on her trail. But yeah, and like what Tony said, Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't a big name. I mean, she's a nepo baby, but she wasn't very. I don't think she was a star when she did Halloween. I think it
That
made
was
her
her
a
first
star.
film. It was her first film. And I think he kind of wanted a versatile unknown, like basically, even if it was a well-known family she was from.
But she definitely arrived in that movie.
Yeah. Well, like I'll just say this, like it's always like I guess it's smart, kind of like they did with when they put Betsy Palmer and they cast her as a familiar face because she was kind of a known, you know, a known person in some circles back in the day. And same thing with Donald Pleasance. You know, Donald Pleasance he played Blomfield in You Only Live Twice, Bond villain. He was also in The Great Escape with Steve McQueen and Charles Bronson. And a funny story about that movie was he was actually on a bomber crew on a bomber in World War II and did like 60 bombing missions and got shot down and was in a German POW camp. And then when John Sturges, the director, was like, he was trying to tell John Sturges, like, well, you should do it like this. You know, this is not how the Stalag was. Well, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. And Charles Bronson went up to him and said, dude, he was in a POW camp for fucking 2 years. You might need to listen to him. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, you know, Donald Pleasance was kind of a war hero. He's also the president in Escape from New York. So obviously John Carpenter liked to use him. He was the priest in Prince of Darkness. He was also in movies like Will Penny and The Eagle Has Landed. So I won't go any further, but so it was good to have an established English actor. He also done a lot of horror films in the 60s for Hammer and places like that. So he was kind of perfect for that. There are parts where part two, there's stories about him kind of begrudgingly doing the movie, you know, because I guess he needed the money. And he tried to come out and do a take, and he'd already drunk like 2 bottles of wine in his trailer. So he was kind of he liked to drink his wine, but they got through it. And yeah, John Carpenter's the best, Aaron. But yeah, and also like getting Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought Jamie Lee Curtis did a great job of playing a terrorized person. Just the way she, I just thought that was great. I thought the kids were pretty good in it for kid actors. And the other were passable. Yeah, they were passable. But also, another thing I learned about this movie is like everybody on this set, for the most part, not just the cast, but the crew, John Carpenter had worked with all of them before, except for the exception of Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. So you had Deborah Hill, who helped write it. She was one of the producers. He was one of the producers. The girl that played Annie, she was has been in 2 of his movies before, his 2 previous movies. PJ Souls, they knew, like say the director of photography was buddies with him, and like he was like college roommates with some people in it because they all went to like UCLA film school and places like that. So it was kind of like a family. They said set, they were just like all tight knit, and that probably helped with the movie a lot. But we'll go to the last thing, and I'll start with Tony again. Well, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do like you did, Fable. We'll give Jeff a chance to go first this time.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. I'm sorry I didn't do it earlier. What is your overall rating, and where does this movie place in Hollywood history and horror film history?
Oh, well, I mean, in Hollywood history, because it's a horror film niche or a slasher film, I don't think it's going to rate overall, but are you asking about like my book or what I perceive as the world's book? Because in my book, it's a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. I've loved it since I first saw it because it legitimately scared me. It made me uncomfortable when I first saw it. So if a movie can do that to me, I think it accomplished its job. So I think the first one is easily a 9 out of 10. The second one I give like a 7.5, 8. But I love both of them, and they're both just like part of my rite of passage. I don't know, growing up, they're part of my childhood culture. So, and it wasn't surprising for me to see that they went on and on and on and on, and everybody kept remaking more and more Michael Myers movies because it was a home run. That's why I see it.
All right, thanks, Jeff. All right, Fable, it's your turn.
Part 1, if I had to give it out of 5, I'd give it a 4 personally, just personally, because there's other slashers, there's other John Carpenter movies that I like over this one.
Yeah.
But you can't deny its impact, right? What it spawned, what it created, the character of Michael Myers and how he's endured over the decade. So just based on that, I'd have to bump that up to a 5 out of 5. It'd have to get a perfect score because it's just classic 101 horror movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's the quintessential slasher. It's the same thing like Friday the 13th Part 1 or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 or Hellraiser. Like, you know what I mean? These movies endured so much. And what, your personal feelings on which guy is better or which movie's better, that, it's all up to the person, but you got to give it its props. So I'd probably give Part 1 a perfect score. And then Part 2, yeah, like Jeff said, I'll knock it down maybe to like a 6 or 7 out of 10 or 3 or out of 5, whatever it is. Because there's some dumb shit in Part 2. Like, let's be honest here. Like, Laurie's hair just changes out of nowhere. It's like, what the fuck? Does this chick got a wig? The hospital with like 5 employees makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense at all.
But it's the fact that the hospital's empty like that is what makes it scary. So you kind of forgive it for that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's like when I saw those 2 people in the hot tub, I was like, aren't you guys on fucking duty? Like, what the hell? Well, first of all, where are you? And what hospital is this where they have this shit?
You got people having sex in the physical therapy hot tub. Yeah.
Right. And then they go to the doctor's offices. I'm like, does he live in this fucking hospital? Because he's got a fish tank.
Got a shower in
got a
there.
library and shit there. Like, what the hell is going on? But I still enjoy part 2. I'm not shitting on it. That's just me nitpicking and over years. But yeah, it's definitely no part 1 for sure. So yeah, I gotta agree with Jeff. I'd be like probably perfect score for part 1 and a few notches down, maybe 2 or 3 points down from part 1.
Yep, she did.
She's played it in every decade. That's cool. All right, Tony, your overall rating. Usually I go 1 to 5, but you can go 1 to 10. I don't care. And then where does it hold up in horror film history?
Well, you can tell it made an impression on me. I told the story before about, the first time I seen Halloween 1 and 2, I was 8 years old at a drive-in watching a double feature, and it scared the living crap out of me. I was 8. Okay.
And you're outside.
Yeah, and I was outside, and I just pressured my mother. I want to go see it because Halloween 2 was the new movie, but this theater decided to play both of them. So, was it the first slasher? No. But it did. I still think it's a benchmark. It set the standard of what a great movie could be without doing much of anything. Now, I will say later on, one of my biggest criticisms for the later movies is they got to the point to where he's basically Jason. To me, the gore got a little over the top. He got a little over the top, but I still love him. I actually enjoy the Thorn thing because that's my own personal, like you said, it's your own personal opinion. But we're not talking about Thorn. We're talking about 1 and 2. So 1 is a benchmark. I would give that damn thing a 9 out of 10 any day of the week because I'm biased. I just freaking love it. There's a reason why I watch them every Halloween.
Yep, me too.
And I will slip 2 down a little bit, but it is my favorite of the sequels. And some of the stuff, just the part where Michael's walking, you see a viewpoint of Michael looking at the nurses, and he's in the same room with the babies. And you're like, holy crap. Even the little notch where the kid had the freaking razor blade in his mouth, because at that time that was a real thing going around, and where parents had to check their kids' candy and stuff for stupid crap like that. And it was scary. Even still to this day, we got to the point to where now, back then, you'd have people making homemade popcorn balls and candy apples and stuff, and we got so scared as a society that now it's all just stuff you buy from Walmart, wrapped, already individually wrapped. And I know I'm getting on a tyrant, so let's get back to the movie. I love them both. And even I think personally that Halloween Resurrection is the worst one they made, and there's still parts about it I like. So and I actually say that. And anyway, I'm talking about other stuff. I need to go back to 1 and 2. Great films overall. Highly recommend it. And if for some reason you've never watched them, watch them. They're great. It made Jamie Lee Curtis a household name. It made Donald Pleasance even more awesome than he already was. And, it launched a lot of people's careers, and it also killed a few people's careers and some of the others. That's it.
Including John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Including John Carpenter. Let's not forget that he made his bow with this movie.
I want to make one point because I was going to talk about it earlier when Matt talked about Halloween 2, the explosion scene. I watched the behind-the-scenes thing about part 4. And they originally were going to put a scene in there where they recreated the explosion scene, but you seen Loomis's body get blown out of the room. And that's how you see it. And that would explain it.
I kind of remember that, though.
But that was going to explain how Loomis survived and was able to be in part 4. But budget cuts and time restraints, they weren't able to film.
Yeah. It was one of the coolest things that I saw or noticed while watching these films. I want to talk about a John Carpenter trope, like the director's tropes. He always shows an old film playing on a TV. That's in almost every movie he does. You see a TV
Yeah.
playing some sort of thing from his childhood. And I love seeing that he had the thing playing on the TV in this one. It's like sign of things to come, my brother. Sign of things to come for you. You're predicting your future right here. That was so cool. Seeing the thing on the TV there.
Definitely.
Which one had Night of the Living Dead? One of them had Night of the Living Dead on it. Was that part two?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where she was
scaring, like you're coming.
Her
They're
brother
coming
was
to get
scaring
you.
her in the cemetery. Barbara, whatever it is.
I think part one was what, Dr. Strangelove?
No, it was a thing from outer space by
Oh,
Howard.
outer space. That's right.
That's what he was talking about. It's kind of like a thing that was getting ready to happen because he was going to do that soon.
Yeah.
Well, okay. My rating is this. Look, is it my favorite John Carpenter film? Honestly, no. That's reserved for The Thing. But this is it. I give it a 5 on part 1 out of 5, and I give the second one like a 3.5. Just part 5 just hit all the points. It's a horror classic. It's went down in history. And now when you think of movies like when you think of horror films, you think of I call them like the Mount Rushmore, although there's more than that. But I always think of, like, of course, the Universal monsters: Dracula, Dr. Frankenstein monster, the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then I think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, and this movie, and Nightmare on Elm Street. But in this movie, though, kind of like, it's some of the old Hammer films, but like, this was like kind of, I mean, it wasn't the first slasher film, but it kind of made it to where you got all the copycats. Even Friday the 13th, to be honest, to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was only made because of this movie was such a success.
Absolutely. 100%.
And the fact that you could, and it also proved, it also kind of like, it actually reiterated the point that Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Tobe Hooper made. You could make a film for a shoestring budget and it become a blockbuster, especially in this genre. Especially because you didn't need that much money to do a film like this. Honestly, look, what do they do with that? There's not a lot of special effects. We just need to go to the costume shop, get a couple of Halloween masks, some prop knives, a few cars and stuff, maybe some prop guns, and people dressed up in police uniforms, and chase people around houses, and just a couple of houses, So
story, camera angles, and scoring.
Yeah.
And
also, I think that this was one of the first movies where you liked the killer. Does that make sense? Like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, most of the time when you're making movies, or at least the attitude of those days, you don't want to idolize or make the killer look cool, right? You it's just something you didn't do. It's why Roger Ebert or these critics didn't like Friday the 13th in a lot of ways, right? But people just period gravitated to his look. You know what I mean? And they wanted to be him. I want that mask for Halloween. I want to dress up like that. I want to, you know what I mean? And then that was an unexpected side effect, I think. I don't think anybody ever went into doing like, oh, we're going to make this iconic killer that they're going to fucking, dress up as a Halloween for the next 50 years or whatever it is. Like, that was just an unexpected side effect. And people like the guy who made Friday the 13th, he got it, right? He understood. Wes Craven understood, right? Like, they got they said, this is the move. This is what the 80s is gonna be like. So yeah, man. You gotta it's amazing. You gotta give it its props for stuff, even if it's unintended.
It's a Halloween tradition now.
Yeah,
like we said earlier, it's like watching It's a Wonderful Life during Christmas or something, or A Christmas Story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to watch Halloween. We're going to watch Halloween 1 and 2. We used to have a Halloween marathon. One time I remember on Halloween, we rented every one of them and watched them all, like, back to back, up all night. So, but that's when I had a little stronger constitution, could stay up till 8 o'clock in the morning and go to sleep. But now I do it, I feel like I'm wasted. I don't know. I can't say enough nice words about it, I guess, because it's like, and like you said, it birthed the careers of John Carpenter, basically put him in another level. So where he was able to actually get real money to do a movie like The Thing or, They Live or something like that.
Big Trouble in Little China, baby.
Oh,
Big
I
Trouble
love that
in
movie.
China. Yeah, I was going to say about that.
He was never really successful though, if you really think about it. I mean, he
wasn't like he never became a Spielberg or Robert Zemeckis or anything,
Right.
but like he always brought consistent movies out, and it's also because I don't think you can pin him down. Like he doesn't Michael Mann does these big action films, right? Or what's the guy? Michael Bay. It's not a Michael Bay like thing. It's just like
he famously hates the Hollywood system.
Yeah,
Some of his movies are direct like challenges to that. Some, if you like read the messaging in some of his later films,
yeah, he's
like,
a rebel.
fuck
He was
the
a rebel.
industry.
Yeah, he's a Hollywood rebel, and also like that. Like when you think about The Thing when it was released, it came out the same time as E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and The Thing is like the antithesis of that movie.
Right.
Not everything's going to be all right. Just because you have this alien show up, he's not necessarily going to be friendly.
Yeah.
And like, the end of it. So, a lot of his movies are like that. That might be one of the reasons it cost him in Hollywood. Some very nihilistic endings. The Thing, even Escape from New York. I mean, he completes the mission, but then he doesn't give the president the tape that's supposed to be so important. You see him pulling it apart, at the end of it. They Live.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper, spoiler alert, he doesn't help. He doesn't save everybody at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying that about society, like you can't, Prince of Darkness. The evil's already in that movie. The evil's already been released. The cat's already out of the bag. It's just how are you going to react to it now? And they kind of call this Apocalypse trilogy: The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and Mouth of Madness. I think was the one.
Well, Mouth of Madness is a fuck you letter to Stephen King.
Yeah, that too.
That's what that is. It's like, you're gonna talk about me adapting fucking Christine? Go fuck yourself.
See, like Stephen King's always had that problem with people. Like he had the problem with Kubrick, and like me and Jeff were talking about that too. With Kubrick, though, you can't tell Kubrick, "I want you to do this part in the book, this part in the book." Kubrick's not going to listen like that because Kubrick has already mapped that movie out in his head like 3 years ago. He's been thinking about this movie for 5 years because Kubrick took like 5 years before he did another movie. That's why he didn't do that many movies. So you could also, but
I mean, it's easy to criticize a director, and it's easy for directors to criticize writers, right? Like that's just what it is. Like Stephen King, he got mad at Kubrick, but like, who doesn't have The Shining as like a top?
That
10?
seems crazy to me.
You
It
know
seems
what I
like
mean?
Stephen King should just say to Kubrick, "Thank you," and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I bet he catch those checks.
Absolutely.
Oh, I guarantee he did.
Shining is a masterpiece.
Before we go, I want to, since I still got some people watching, I want to say this real quick is that me and Jeff and Kingdom of Nerds on my channel are having a big, massive, can't miss comic sale, claim sale. I'm going to have a lot of Bronze Age Joe Kubert war books. I'll have some Monster and the Wolf books. I have all kinds of other cool books and keys. Even have Spectacular Spider-Man 1 up for sale at a good price. Even got some autograph books and some bundles and lots. And Jeff's going to have some good stuff. I'll let Jeff tell you about that in a minute. And then Bruce will, it's Bruce. He's going to have a lot of cool Mark Spears books and a lot of other badass books. So if you want to get a decent deal about breaking the bank, I mean, you have to pay shipping still, but it's 2 p.m. Eastern to like probably 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So, if you want some cool books, just check us out. And then, of course, coming up in a few weeks, I don't have all the thumbnails for it, but next week on Bad Cinema, we're going to be reviewing one of the worst movies of all time, but it's one of the funnest, worst movies of all time. It's a little movie called Samurai Cop. And then next week on Good Cinema, we have a 80s comedy classic starring Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, and the great legend himself, Richard Pryor. And of course, we're going to be reviewing Harlem Nights. Oh, you want to hit people with garbage cans. I love that part. Anyway, now I got to cut you.
I'm going to kill you,
then,
quick. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, we got Friday Night Frights. It's going to be me and Tony's show. The first week we're going to alternate weeks. The first week of November will be mine, and then he'll do the second week. I'll do the third, and he does the last week of the month. So starting out for mine, it's going to be on the first week we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, and for the third week on my channel we'll be doing Creep Show, directed by George Romero. And then Tony, you tell them what yours are. I don't want to.
All right. Well, for the second show, I wanted to try to do something that I think is cool. I'm going to do Phantasm, the first Phantasm movie, and then I'm going to bring it home with The Evil Dead.
Nice. Okay. You guys are starting out with a bang there.
So that'll be fun.
Bunch of bangers, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good month, and I can't wait. I got some. I got some other bangers up for good cinema and bad cinema this month. It's going to be a fun. I will give you a hint to one of the movies for good cinema coming up too. And if you understand this clip, then you'll know what I'm talking about.
I'd buy that for $1.
One of my favorites of all time, man.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you know what it is, it's okay. All right, Tony, you got anything else you want to plug before we go?
No, not really. Aside from the Friday Night Frights, I was going to make a point earlier when we was talking about Halloween about being one of the most significant things is it's still considered an independent film. But
that's true. Aside
from that, I'll be a part of. I can't go into details, but I will be a part of the CBC Awards. I'll be, on that just for a little bit. And then the next week following the CBC Awards, I guess it would be about what would it be, the 8th or something. I'm going to do another. I'm kind of putting Hanging with Grandpa Starscream on Friday on the back burner because we're doing Friday Night Frights. But that Saturday after the CBC Awards, I think it's the 8th. We'll be doing. I will do another episode of In the Comiverse, and who knows? I may make that one my Ace Frehley tribute. Who knows? Because I feel like I mean, it's been a little bit, they've laid him to rest, but I got that. There's no way I'm not gonna do a tribute to probably the greatest guitar player Kiss ever had. So
he was the greatest guitar player Kiss ever had. He's one of the best guitar players of all time, in my opinion. Yeah.
Only person that comes close to him is Bruce.
Yeah, they say that Eddie, look, I love Eddie Van Halen and everything, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, he did not invent the finger tapping. It was Ace Frehley did it way before he did it, and so did Jimmy Page. So, but anyway, Fable, what do you got coming up, man? I know you're gonna be on me and you'll be on with Robbie in February on Pop Culture Blog.
Yeah,
you just tell us what you got.
I'm basically a free man. I'm taking a break, bro.
Okay.
Not doing much of nothing this year. Enjoying the holidays with the kids. I will be on with Robbie in November because we're doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended cuts.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll be doing those. So one every week in November. And I'm planning something called Sci-Fi Fest in February next year with Robbie. And I already locked down my 4 films, so I can tell you guys right now we're going to cover Starship Troopers, The Prestige, The Abyss, and They Live. We'll be doing that.
He asked me which ones I wanted to do. He already knows.
The Abyss is great.
Yeah, The Abyss. Jeff, hit me up, man, if you want to join me for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I absolutely love the end of The Abyss and the message.
Yeah, open the government.
Hell yeah. And
I love you, Bobby.
Of course, Jeff, tell them where we can find you at.
On some of these guys' shows.
There you go.
He's like one of our experts. We got to have Jeff around, man.
I'm the internet stowaway.
He's
always invited for me.
He's on the payroll by now. I'm going to put all you guys on the payroll, I guess, if we got, But all right, before we go,
you guys get paid?
Shh, don't tell nobody. I don't want y'all I'm gonna be one of them evil employers. Don't be talking about how much money I pay you. Okay. All right. Anyway, all right. Here we go. Before we go, remember this. I want everybody to have a safe Halloween, and if you get that feeling you're being watched, You might want to lock your doors and make sure your windows are locked. Don't go outside to investigate any strange noises. And just be careful for things that go bump in the night. But I want everybody to have a safe Halloween. Check out your kids' candy. Make sure there ain't no lunatics done something to it. Make sure they're safe out there. Go with them. Don't let them go. Don't let them go out there like we did. We're like a bunch of wild Native Americans when I was a kid, running around free range kids. But nowadays, you probably don't want to do that. But I hope everybody has a nice Halloween, a nice Halloween Eve, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And you keep watching, we'll keep reviewing them. That's all I'm going to say, and we're out.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod!
Snoochie boochies.